you know, have a little respect. And I know how the anxiousness works because I was there, and when you first learn and you want to go there and sit in with the bands, a lot of times you get over anxious and you just want to jump on stage, and a lot of times that'll turn guys off. And if you turn them off, you might not be able to come back. The proper way to do it is say, hey man, I play a little harp. Is it okay if I sit in? And if they say fine, fine. Don't get over anxious, but I know the feeling. That's how I learned. I learned by sitting in the clubs and the Teresa's nightclubs and the Queen Bee and the Checkerboard, and I learned by passing the harmonica back and forth with Big Walter and with James Cotton and Junior Wells and Carrie Bell. The tune I recorded called New Kid on the Block on the Harp Attack album tells that very same story. So bear in mind that these guys are professionals. They've been through experiences for years, and for someone to just jump up and kind of want to take over a lot of time might rub them the wrong way. So keep that in mind. One story or incident that comes to mind, and I recall the greats with a lot of fondness. And my approach, and you might take this to heart, my approach was an humble approach, because the blues is a traditional music. And here I am, a young kid coming from the west coast of California and coming to Chicago and discovering the blues. I was like a kid in a candy store. And as I described how you might get anxious and, you know, over anxious in trying to play, you still have to remember that you're dealing with professionals and you're dealing with a lot of history here. This is a tradition that's been passed down for generations and generations. But I remember being in Mexico City on a festival that included, over a 3-year period, everyone from Muddy Waters to John Lee Hooker to Sunnyland Slim. All the greats were there. And I was able to travel with Willie for 3 years. And I remember one occasion where Big Walter Horton was following us as the Willie Dixon Chicago Blues All-Stars. And I know this man's in the wings, so I was pulling out everything I could play, you know, because I wanted to do a good job. Well, I got out after the stage, and I was almost looking at him like, well, how did I do? And he looked at me and said, oh, you're trying to cut my head now, huh? And I was about, I guess, 20-something years old, and Big Walter was in his 60s or 70s, and by him, he had I guess what you call one of his standards was a blues version of La Cucaracha. Well, there he did it in Mexico City. And when Big Walter played La Cucaracha live for a crowd of about 3,000 or 4,000 Mexicans, the whole house was brought down, and there I was, my head was cut again.